Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Tried and Tested podcast. If you're not familiar with me, I am your host, Tracy, and this is a dating and relationship podcast where we talk about all things dating, relationship advice, you name it, anything just related to those areas. Um, so, this is a new season that we have, and usually every episode has a different guest. The last few episodes, to kind of just set off or to take off for the year, are just kind of like, little tidbits, little short episodes of me just kind of talking and giving my advice and giving my thoughts on different topics, which I probably will elaborate on later on when I have guests. So yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. And so today, I was reached out to, wait, is that a word? No. Today, somebody asked for my advice regarding a particular topic, and I thought it was so good because I did not have an answer. And I'm gonna try to unpack what I said in this episode, and definitely like feel free to reach out to me if you have your own thoughts on this. So essentially, there's a female, and she is married to her husband, and I'm guessing they've been together for a good amount of time. Like it's not like a brand new relationship or a brand new marriage. And I guess during the marriage, some time ago, there was some infidelity. I would say I'm gonna say 4 years, and I'll explain why. So maybe like 4 years ago, from whenever from today, there was some infidelity that occurred in the marriage. Um, and the woman forgave the man, and I guess they were able to kind of, now move forward with their relationship and kind of, kind of move on from there. So I'm gonna come back to that because I always wonder, like, can you really forgive somebody for cheating on you? Like, and I've realized that I'm somebody that, not that I struggle with forgiveness, but I feel like some things you be like, you can't forgive that. But we know that if you are Christian, that is part of like what we have to do, what we must do. And obviously, usually forgiveness comes from people that are close to us that hurt us. So anyway, I'm gonna come back to that. But so apparently, the lady that he cheated on her with has come now 3, 4 years later, and she's like, "You have a child," and the man takes a paternity test to find out, like, is she tripping? What's going on? And also why she didn't say it when she was pregnant and when she had a baby, etc., etc. Um, I guess the good thing about it is that if he didn't know that she had a child, he probably didn't know that she was pregnant, which means that he did, in fact, cut off all communication with her and end that relationship. The bad news is that, I mean, obviously, we know sex leads to children. And so now the issue is the wife is here. You have a situation where your husband cheated on you, and you were able to move past it. Now you kind of have to go back and you have to live in that moment. So the question, I guess, was like, well, like what would you do in this situation? And I would say that obviously when you are, hmm, it's a hard situation for me to even grasp. I'm just trying to like think it over, but it's kind of like now that there's a child involved, and I think that the lady herself is having infertility issues. But now that there's a child involved, I'm not sure if she has a child with this man. I think she does, but don't get me lying on here. Um, but it's like you now have to deal with the person that he cheated with continuously, right? This is a regular thing because now you guys are essentially a family. So you're the wife with the husband, and now you have to deal with the woman he cheated on you with, and has a child with. And children don't go away. It's a lifetime thing. And so the question is that, like, would you now want to deal with this for the rest of your life, or would you be able to move past it? And for me, like I said, when I heard it, I was just like, ooh, you know, like I explained before, I definitely want to go to school for psychology, social psychology, which is the study of why we act the way we act, why we behave the way we behave, why we do the things we do, and for me specifically in relationships, because I see so many things. I've experienced things. I read about certain things, and it's just like, why? Like, what is the behavior, the reason behind this behavior? You know what I mean? And if you go to church, obviously there's a whole different explanation for it, or that you can add to it, right? But just in general, like, I think that there's character issues. There's just so many things. And so back to the question, like, what would I do in this situation? And I think that for myself, I don't know. I'm not married, right? And I feel like I don't know what it consists of to be married, right? Because for me, in my mind, and as crazy as it sounds, like, obviously we've all been in relationships and we've dated people before. So when you date somebody, you date them, you love them, you want to spend the rest of your life with them, and then obviously it doesn't work out. For whatever the reason is, it doesn't work out. And then you go through a phase of where, like, it's so hard and it's heartbreaking and you're just, whatever. So that's what essentially a relationship is to me. With marriage, I would assume it's the same thing, but you are bound legally. But then it's like, when I hear people divorce or going through a divorce, the way they talk about it seems a lot worse than being with your boyfriend and loving them, right? It's like people are like, oh, I thought I was gonna die. Like, I thought he was gonna kill me. Like, they make it seem so, not they make it seem, this is what they're actually going through, so excuse me. But it's just like, it seems like there's another level of love and another level of something that I'm not really familiar with. And so, like I said, so for me to answer the question, I don't know what I would do, right? Maybe back in the day I'd be like, oh, I'm leaving. But I think that in this situation, two things happen. If you leave, you're going to be hurt. If you stay, you're going to be hurt, right? And so this is kind of like the consequences from the man's actions, but I don't know what I would tell somebody to do because I feel like I don't know. I think it's something that's very hard for me to comprehend, very hard for me to understand. Um, but I think that I don't know, like, maybe this is where counseling would come in, where because I don't think that someone can advise you in your marriage like what to do. At the end of the day, it's always going to be your emotions, it's always going to be your thoughts, your choice, and what you can live with and what you can't live with. But it's just like the fact that you forgave this man for cheating, and the years have went by, and now there's a product of cheating. So now you end up with a 4-year old stepson or something. It's like, what do you do? And I'm just like, I know that people are out here going through so many different relationship issues, troubles, woes, heartbreak, and there's some things that are probably easier to bounce back from and other things that you cannot. But I guess that if you decide to go into the institution of marriage, if it's till death do us part, like, either she gotta kill him or it's like, no, I'm just joking. But it's just like, what do you do? I don't know. Because I think that, like, it's a different level of love, right? I think the easiest thing would be, like I said, I can't confirm if she does have children with him or not, but I know they had infertility issues. Um, because would you hate the child? You know what I'm saying? Like, the child is a reminder of the fact that my husband was cheating on me and he produced a child, which I'm struggling to do for him. And then it's like it's a reminder of this lady. Now she has to contact him. She'll need child support or help or things like that. And it's just like, man, it's just so hard for me to digest. And it's just like, this goes to show you that, even though like, by nature, we're sinners, we can make mistakes and things like that. Some of these mistakes will cost you for your life. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of your life, they'll cost you and they'll cost the people around you. And so, yeah, I don't know. I would really have to, like, take it into prayer and decide, like, is this worth it? Like, do I want to be in this jungle, this triangle? But regardless, if they do in fact have a child already, you still have to deal with him. If you don't have a child, you can kind of make a clean break and kind of just kind of, move on with life and so on and so forth. But you will still need to get counseling. You will still need prayer to kind of get over the betrayal in order for you to kind of move on with life. So it's really like I said, it's very, very interesting, this topic. But yeah, I don't wish that on anybody. Like, it's hard enough being cheated on, but this is definitely just a lot, like a lot, a lot. So I'm sure I have more to say. I cannot think, but I'm sure I'll bring this up in another episode. So let me know what you guys think. Like, what are your thoughts concerning this? What would you do? Um, you guys can send me a message on Instagram. It is the official Tracy Sarpong, which I believe is linked at the bottom of the podcast description box anyway. You can send me an email, tracysarpong@gmail.com. But yeah, I'm curious to know, like, what would you guys do in this situation? Um, 'Cause I just, man, I don't know.